For this lesson, we are going to look at an introduction to inverse functions. Alright, so first of all, what we're going to do is just review what we did in the first lesson for functions, how we actually identified if it was a function or not. So if you remember, if we wanted to check if a parabola, so we have a quadratic function here, if we wanted to test if this was indeed a function, then remember what we actually used is something called the vertical line test. So by using the vertical line test, we take a vertical line and then we try and take that across the function and see if it intersects the graph how many times. So if we take this vertical line here and we go across the function here, you see at any one point, you see, it only intersects the parabola once. If this is the case, then we can say that this is indeed a function. So remember, something that wasn't a function would be something like, if we had a circle, say. So if we put a circle in here, so if we wanted to prove that this wasn't indeed a function, then again we take the vertical line test. We put a vertical line and then we try, and as soon as we put this here, for instance, I just drop it there, you can see that I actually get 2 points of intersection here. Okay, so what this means is for one x value, so say this is x equals -5. So when x equals -5, you see you're getting y equals 4 up here, say that would be y equals 4 or whatever it is. And then here we get y equals -2. So for one particular x value, we're getting 2 y values. That's why it's not a function. So remember, if it's not a function, then we say that it's a relation. Okay, so a circle would be a relation. Whereas here, if we take this point, for example, so say this was with this line here is x equals -1. When x equals -1, you see, y equals 1. Okay, so for one x value, there's only one y value. So that's the difference between something that tells us whether it's a function or a relation. So basically, just do the vertical line test. If it cuts it only one place, then it's a function. If it cuts it more than one, then it's going to be a relation. So what we're looking at today is inverse functions. So this is the important test for inverse functions. Now, the new test is called a horizontal line test. Okay, so a horizontal line test is to test whether it's a one-to-one function. So the vertical line test is going to tell us whether it's a function. Once we decide if it's a function or not, then we have another test, the horizontal line test, to see is it a one-to-one function. Okay. Is it a one-to-one function? Okay, if I can write that better, actually. So let's see, is it a one-to-one function? So what we do is we insert a horizontal line. Okay, so if the horizontal line only cuts the function, so intersects the function only at one place, then it is a one-to-one function. At one point, it is a one-to-one. It is 1, 2, 1. Okay, now if it intersects at more than one place, then it's not a one-to-one function. Okay, so it's going to be a one-to-many function. Okay, but we're only concerned, is it a one-to-one function? So if we use an example here of a linear function, so we draw a linear function here, so anything like this. Okay, so first of all, you have this linear function. You want to test whether it's a function or not. If we put on a vertical line here, you see it will only cut it at one place. So we've decided that it is a function. So what we want to do now is see if it's a one-to-one function. So what we do is we start off with a horizontal line. And we take that horizontal line and we see that at any point you put the horizontal line through this graph, is there anywhere that it will cut it more than one, intersect it more than one place? And you'll see there's nowhere that you could place that line here. It would go through the graph more than once. So that means that this linear function is a one-to-one. So this is indeed a one-to-one function. If we investigate another function that we've studied in the methods course here, a square root function. So say we have square root function starting down here, maybe -5, -4. And then the square root function is this sort of shape. So again, the vertical line test is going to show whether it's a function or not. So by putting in a vertical line across this graph, you see that it would only intersect it once. So I'm sure you can visualize that without actually putting the line in. But if I do the horizontal line test to see if it's a one-to-one function, again, anywhere that I put this, will it intersect the function at more than one point? Again, no, it won't. Okay, so there's only one point of intersection, so a square root function, again, is going to be a one-to-one function. Okay. Now, let's look at another graph that we've studied here. So again, if we look at another parabola here, so if we just think about a parabola, and we've got a function, so say a quadratic function like this. Okay, is this going to be a one-to-one function? So first of all, vertical line test will prove that it is indeed a function. So now we do horizontal line test to see if it is a one-to-one function. So again, we take a horizontal line. So if I bring my horizontal line up here, it's just going to touch it once. But if I bring it anywhere up here, you see, anywhere that if I just drop this line here, then I can see very clearly that we have 2 points of intersection. So here and here. So this means that if it intersects more than 1 point, then it's not a one-to-one function. Okay, so this is not one-to-one. Okay, so it is a function, but it's not a one-to-one function. Okay, so at any one point, does it intersect this place here? No, it doesn't. Okay, because you've got 2 points. So basically what it means here is for a y value, so see if when y equals 6, say, when y equals 6, right, on this line here, you've got x here equaling 2, say. And over here as well, you've got x equals, say, -5. So you see for one y value, you've got 2 x values. That's why it's not a one-to-one function. For a one-to-one function, we have to have for each y value, we just have one corresponding x value. Just like what we did here. So if y equaled 5 here, you see, this point would be something like -3.5. Okay? So this x value here would be -3, you see. So for one y value, when y is equal to 5, you only produce one x value, x being -3. This point here, say if y was equal to 2 here, you see you only get one x value, so x is equal to 1, for instance. So for every one y value, you only get one x value. In this case here, when y equals 6, you're going to have 2, you know. If you put in another line down here, you know, another horizontal line and said, well, y equals 4 here. You see here, you're going to have x equals 1 here, you know. You're going to have x equals -4 or something, you know. You're going to have 2 x values for one y value. Alright, so that is what the test for one-to-one is. Okay, and that's going to lead us on to studying inverses. Okay.